Antonio, and welcome to this edition to Cover, and thank you for joining us. I'm your host, Caitlin Cowart with the San Antonio Public Library. The library is a premier resource for educational support, self-directed learning, and literacy. The library promotes learning and literacy in all forms, from birth to 100 years old and beyond. Today, we will be discussing the multitude of resources and services available to learners of all levels. Our first guest is CRESENCIA HUFF, the library services lead for library's Little Red Wagon program. Little Red Wagon helps prepare your child for success in reading, school, and life through 5 basic principles: talking, singing, reading, and writing. Reading, writing, and playing. So, CRESENCIA, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I'm so glad to have you here. It's been a while since we saw you last, and we thought now is the perfect opportunity to touch base on the Little Red Wagon program and to see what's happening. But first of all, for those viewers who may not be familiar, tell us a little bit about what it is that you do.
Little Red Wagon is the library's early literacy outreach program. And so we go out into the community and we visit with parents, caregivers, any adult that is involved in the life of a young child. And we encourage them to support their children in getting ready to learn how to read. And that can happen in a lot of different formats. It might be a more formal workshop for just the adults, or it might be something more interactive where it can be the adults and the children together.
So it really is an experience of learning on both sides, the parent on how to interact with their child in a focused way.
Right. We want to provide them with some of the research that supports practicing the 5 things that you mentioned earlier, the talking, singing, reading, writing, and playing. But we also want to give them an opportunity to apply what they've learned with their children, and with us there to help support them and encourage them.
Yeah, exactly. And why is starting so early really important in childhood learning?
Well, we don't ever want to say it's too late, but the sooner we can start, the more experience that the parent has and the more opportunities the child has for learning. Starting early doesn't mean formal instruction. It means the parent or caregiver looking for opportunities to help their child learn about the world around them. And the more opportunities that they have to build those skills in those real situations that they encounter every day, then the better prepared they'll be when they come to school and are ready to actually start learning how to read in a more formal way.
Yeah, absolutely. So can you give us some examples of the programs that you do offer? I see you've brought several things here, and so tell us a little bit about what they are and how you use them in the programs.
Okay, so we do offer programs for adults in a variety of contexts. They might be teen parents in a high school parenting program. They might be parents who have a child enrolled in Head Start or pre-K or some other more formal learning environment. They might be child care providers or early childhood teachers. And we even go out to the county jail and work with some of the incarcerated parents. And the things that we want to encourage them to do, we might give them an opportunity to make a sensory bottle. This is just an empty Topo Chico bottle, and we filled it with some sequins and spangles, and this gives them an opportunity to do more talking with their child. And so they can look at the things inside, move it around, talk about the noise that it makes, talk about the colors, but engage their child in conversation. And what's great about something like this is that it could be for an infant. It's very safe if the top is sealed on really tightly with some glue, or a preschooler, in that entire range of children. We also would encourage them to do a lot of singing, and I brought my songbook, and it's an old photo album. It's not anything fancy, and it just has some of our favorite songs printed out and pasted in.
What are some of the songs you have in there?
Okay.
I won't ask you to sing on camera, don't worry.
Well, I love to sing, but we've got songs in English and in Spanish. There are a lot of variations of some of these songs. So, one that I have in here is Bananas Unite, and we've learned through our interactions with different families that some of them do it one way, some of them do it another. We have a song called Los Elefantes, or the Elephant Song, about the elephants balancing on a spider web.
Oh, wow.
And it actually incorporates some math, because as each elephant finds that the spider web will hold them, they call another one. So we're going to add, as well as do the singing that helps the children hear all the sounds in language. But these songs can be any song that the parent and the child enjoy together. They can even be songs that they've made up themselves.
Yeah.
And we really want to encourage the adults to look for ways that they're already supporting their children's reading.
Sure.
It isn't limited to reading, although of course we want to encourage that.
Well, yeah, and eventually they'll get there. But I would think that it's very validating as well for the parents, because it's instinctually you know to do some of these things, and it's showing that you're on the right track, and here's how to make it even better than what you're doing.
Right. We want to show them that if they take the things that they're already doing,
Yeah.
and they do them with intention, like, now that I understand how my talking and my singing and when my playing with my child is helping them get ready for school and get ready for reading, then they'll find more of those opportunities and hopefully do them more frequently. I brought one of our favorite books as well, and it's
What's the title of it?
Salta Conejito, or Hip Hop. So we have it in Spanish and in English. And we also want to encourage parents to use the language that they know best. So whatever that language may be, because the more they use that language, the more vocabulary their child's going to build, because that adult is more confident in that language and they know more words to teach their child. So reading books that they enjoy in a language that's most familiar to them, and really just having fun with the book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Learning can be fun. And so tell me a little bit about the prison program that you had mentioned.
For many years, we have gone out to the Bexar County Adult Detention Center and worked with the parents that are part of their Match Patch program, which is mamas and their children and papas and their children. And they're all adults that have a child who's in care, and we offer them the same kinds of information about the library and about getting their children ready to read as we would any parent. And you know, they will often talk about how encouraging it is to learn about what they can do when they do have opportunities to interact with their children, which of course isn't going to be every day.
Right.
Maybe every couple weeks, if that. But they can make the most of those opportunities, and
Yeah.
you might imagine that it's a strain on their relationship
Sure.
for them to be incarcerated. So it's really, in a way, a very positive experience when you consider what the day-to-day life might be for them.
Yeah, exactly. I can imagine that they really look forward to having you all there to help them. Well, that's really wonderful. So how often do you go out into the community with these programs? And some of them are in the libraries and some of them are off-site.
Most of our programs are off-site, and depending on the season, we could be out several days or every day per week. We might be out several times per day because we want to try to adjust our programming to the needs of the community.
Yeah.
Right now, in the summer, we like to be out at the parks, even though it's a little hot.
Yes.
But
it doesn't scare San Antonians too much.
No, it really doesn't.
Yeah.
We do get very
Get
good
used to it.
attendance
Yeah.
at our outdoor programs, and it also encourages parents and their children to spend time outdoors, knowing that there'll be some library programming available to them there.
Okay, great. Well, what's your favorite part of working on this mission?
Oh, wow. I think my favorite part of it, if I have to choose one.
Well, you can say a few. We're not limited.
Okay, well, we'll start with one.
Okay.
Would be when we have repeated interactions with families and we get to see how the adults and the children have grown over time. There is a family I'm thinking of in particular that we first met when the mom brought a toddler to one of our Play and Learn programs. And she's come to many, many workshops and Play and Learn programs since then. Her oldest child is now going into 3rd grade, and she has another child that's participating in our program. So over the years, we've received feedback from her about things like, oh, I didn't realize it made such a difference for me to point at the words as I'm reading. Or, oh, what was that song again? You know, so we practice those songs and other things that her children have enjoyed. And it's great to hear from her about what she's done at home to extend that experience. Because really, just coming to our programs, that's a good start. We're hoping that they'll continue these activities and experiences at home.
Yeah, well, wonderful. Well, thank you so much. And then our audience out there, you can learn all about these programs at mysapple.org, where to go and how to meet up with CRESENCIA and the rest of the staff with Little Red Wagon. So it's time for a short break, but when we come back, Jeannie Johnson from Learn at Sapple is here to discuss the library services for adult learners. Stay tuned.
Please have a seat. I'll be honest. Your resume is not what I'm used to.
I know.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need a hard worker.
Good. I've got 2 part-time jobs and to help my parents pay the bills.
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find, cultivate, and train a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
At Pre-K for SA, we believe that every child has the unlimited potential to be something great.
I want to be an astronaut. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a chef.
Pre-K for SA offers a full day of inspired learning. Apply now at sanantonio.gov/pre-K or call 206-7735. Ignite the unlimited potential in your child. Pre-K for SA. Quality learning, proven results.
The San Antonio Public Library is a public institution that has a tremendous impact in the community in many ways.
The library's mission is to change lives through the power of information, imagination, and ideas.
I think the primary responsibility of the library is to offer responsive services and resources.
There are so many ways that we can serve the children and their families. Today we were doing a program called Play and Learn, which is a program that has an early literacy focus. We give them opportunities to practice the things that will help get their children ready to learn how to read. And we're giving them more ideas about how they can connect with other people in their community, about how they can use our resources here at the Public Library.
We offer a lot of programs that engage teens on content creation, because that's a population that in many areas of the city, they're at risk of dropping out from school. And so if we can motivate them, if we can help them understand the opportunities that they can pursue, utilizing technology to develop content, but also as part of that effort to be engaged with other teams to develop teamwork, develop collaboration, to come together and think and together as a group, so that they recognize that when you bring various minds together, that you can do great things. What is the role of the library as it relates to digital literacy?
That exposure to technology, I think that for our younger children who have grown up with it, it's a much more natural kind of experience.
In this community, we still have a digital divide. Sure, mobile devices are becoming much more affordable, but for many communities that struggle to put food on their table, they may not afford a tablet or even a smartphone.
The library provides that vital access that they need.
To go and actually partake and be able to experience digital content.
A lot of information to get a driver's license, to get a job, to apply to go to school. More and more people are having to use computers for these purposes.
They can get assistance in developing a resume and then sending their resume to different potential employers.
And that's one of the reasons why we're opening Connected Central.
Right now we have a case where there's a higher demand for print books, and that's what we're providing. But we see a trend where there's also a growing demand for ebooks, and how do we position ourselves to be able to respond to that demand is a question that we ask ourselves. We have a responsibility to always stay flexible, adaptable, to stay nimble, and the strategic plan identifies and provides the tools to allow us to do that.
How can I help my daughter with her reading?
Searching for help with Dachshund Reading.
How can I help my daughter with her reading?
Information on hot water heating.
No. Sarah's bright, but when she's reading, she has trouble sounding out the words.
World music, playing track now.
No.
Let me try. Our daughter gets confused about which details in a story are important.
Which paper towels are most absorbent?
What?
Here are 5 product reviews.
Why are you not getting me?
See, I told you.
Wait, I was trying to show you how Sarah feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
For the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues, this is what life can feel like. Explore understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues, designed to help your child thrive in school and in life. Understood.org, because understanding is everything.
Hello, and welcome back to Cover to Cover. Today we're talking about the library's role in lifelong learning. We're here with San Antonio Public Library Training Officer Jeannie Johnson from the Learn at Sapple Center at Carver Branch Library. Learn at Sapple is an adult basic education center located at 4 library branch locations across the city. Jeannie is here to tell us more about Learn and the resources and services available to adult learners. Jeannie, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yes. So Learn has done so much for our community since it began. I suppose it was when 2015, beginning of 2015 into 2014.
It was, I think the first 2 that opened were Westfall and Bazan, and that was probably about the end of 2014, I believe.
Yeah, and so tell us a little bit about what Learn does. What do you offer?
Well, you know what? The Learn program is really a unique program to the library system. And as far as I know, we're probably the first ones in the country to have this type of setup. It's for adult learners, and it's an adult learning program, but it's more of a holistic approach. So we just take that person and we design a training program for them. You know, it may be somebody that, the other day I had some teachers come in from Bernie and they heard about our program and they didn't want to be teachers anymore. So they wanted to know how can I transition from teaching to an office job. So what I did was I created a resume, and what I told them is we want to marry your past with your present. So we want to take those skills that you had in the past and design them for your future position. So we do a lot of unique things. People can practice on their GED, they can do computer classes, job placement, mock interviews, a lot of different things.
Yeah, so it's something you could come in once if you had one thing in particular you wanted to work on and have a 1 hour or 2 hour session.
Right.
And then, or you could be involved in a program design that's on a more consistent weekly type of basis.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, and what I love so much about it too is the hours, like with a lot of adult education things, it's difficult with jobs and family and different things that people are balancing to be able to make it at a specific time and a specific date every week.
Yeah.
So this is just a lot more customer friendly.
It is, because people call in, they say, what time is your Microsoft Office class? And I'm like, what time can you come?
Yes.
So we're open in the evening 2 nights a week, and then during the week we're there till 6 o'clock when we're not there in the evening. So it does give them more open availability.
Yeah. And what's the best advice that you have for anybody out there who's interested in getting started?
Just come. I mean, come in and do the work.
Yeah.
And, I tell people, take baby steps, because a lot of them are intimidated. They're like, I haven't used a computer in 20 years. I'm like, just come in, turn the computer on, and just try something.
Yeah, may as well just jump in.
Yeah, just jump in with both feet.
Yeah, and so you have had many successes in helping people to get jobs. And tell us a little bit about the job fairs that have been offered. I know Carver's had at least one.
We've had a lot of success with our employers in people coming out looking for jobs. We've worked very closely with employers to make for our demographic for each library. Because we want to make sure that we're putting them in a job that they can get to, that they have transportation to. So we're looking for jobs that are in their neighborhood. And we've had a lot of a lot of people find jobs, and we had a lot of feedback from employers because we prepare them. We prepare their resumes. We do mock interviews with them. So we're preparing the job force. We do have another job fair that will be coming up in September 12th at Westfall Library.
Well, great. Yeah, and all of the details and the times on that can be found at mysapple.org. So what advice would you give to job seekers out there as far as just in general advice and maybe some encouragement on the fact that it can take time?
What I say to a lot of people that come in and they're looking for jobs, and we see older people entering the job force, and what I say to them is the job market is ever changing. So what that means is you have to build your skill set. So you have to learn how to use the computer. It's not intimidating. Just get on there and start trying. You have to learn how to use Outlook, how to use Word, how to use Excel. You also want to build your interpersonal skills. So how do you communicate? Work on your communication. Work on being a team player. A lot of people don't know what that means, and so they haven't been successful in the job market. They may have got jobs, but they haven't been able to keep them because they don't have interpersonal skills. So just work on you. And I tell people, do the work. If you do the work, you'll get the results that you want.
Sure. And you offer financial literacy training as well?
We do. We have a partnership with DHS, and we have a financial counselor that does counseling. It really, like I said before, it's a holistic approach. So we may work with the person with their job skills or learning computer skills, but that person also may have been out of work, and so bills have fallen behind. So that financial counselor can help them get their finances in order. Whether it be that they want to buy a house, you know, they want to pay off their debts, they give them financial counseling and they pull their credit reports, they go through everything, they contact creditors. And so they really, I mean, it's like just working on the whole person.
Yeah, right. And you mentioned DHS. I think that's something that helps to make this program so unique, not only to library systems, but also city departments working together to offer the services DHS has with the services the library has to make it more holistic. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, some of the other things that we do is like people may come in and they want housing. So in fact, housing sends them over to the library so we can help them do the housing application. Whether it's SNAP benefits, we help them with that. So there's a lot of social service needs that people have. We help them with people with disabilities, and they have questions about how to file for disabilities, or people with unemployment. It's a lot of different social services. Whereas you would go into a normal library and somebody doesn't have that designated person to sit down with you and find out exactly what do you need.
Right, exactly. And if you haven't filled out that information before, or some of it does probably have to be done online, that you need some help and guidance in making it happen.
Everything is online now. So a lady came in the other day and she wanted to actually lease her property for housing. And she was 86. And she's like, I don't know anything about the computer. I'm like, well, I do.
Yeah.
So you're okay. Yeah.
Well, I think that's wonderful, because usually it is. I mean, there are different needs that people often have when they're trying to make improvements and take steps. And so thank you so much for all that you do at the Learn Center. Is there, do you have like a favorite story of somebody that you've helped that's really been touching or meaningful to you?
I think the other day, one that I can remember is the teachers that came in the other day. And they were like, they had taught for maybe 20 years. And they're like, we don't want to teach anymore. We want to make a career change. So just, you know, my background is in human resources and education. So just talking about how do you transition from one career to the other. And they were a little apprehensive, but they left feeling really good about it. And they didn't realize how many skills that they had that could really transfer into another career. They were just tunnel vision. I've been in a classroom with these kids. I don't want to be with kids anymore. But that's, I mean, education is education. You can do adult education. You can work in a university office. So just letting them know what their options were. And I think we have so many people that walk away from the Learn Centers just pleased with the services they got, and encouraged that, you know what, I can do something different and I can still learn something.
Yeah. No, that's wonderful. Well, thank you so much for being on the show today. It was a pleasure
Thank you for having me.
Speaking with you. So for more information about today's topics, head to our website at www.mysapple.org, or you can follow us on social media at MySapple. Tune in next month for our next edition of Cover to Cover. See you then, and thank you.
Todd's a great guy. I mean, look at him. What a sweetheart. Attaboy. Wait, Todd, what are you doing? How totally selfish and un-Todd-like of you. Come on, Todd. Come on, man.